What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming at y'all with our first day of SEC Media Days coverage right here on the Bluebloods, man. We had three of the most interesting schools in the SEC, man. Florida coming off an SEC championship game appearance. LSU coming off of one of their most tumultuous seasons in a while, honestly. And then yeah, and then brand new head coach Shane Beamer for South Carolina probably stole the show for me, just like a hint. But Brandon, before we get into the biggest like topics, what were your main takeaways from the first day of SEC Media Days?
So I'm going to go ahead real quick and touch on each coach and just kind of how each one of them like presented themselves, in my opinion. That's really what my takeaways were. The first thing is that I just got like a fire in my belly, and I know I already talked about it last week or maybe the week before. I can't remember. But I am so excited for college football, and just hearing Coach O go up and do this press conference today for SEC Media Days got me so fired up. He came through with the confidence he always has. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably biased here, but just hearing him talk to me always, like, he gets me so fired up. Second thing is that Dan Mullen's voice alone can just piss me off, and it did. I feel okay, and this might be my bias as well, but I feel like his was the most. I feel like his was the most boring press conference. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we got some Florida fans out there that disagree with me. Maybe there's some guys that aren't LSU fans out there that disagree with me. But one thing he said was, in my opinion, ridiculous, and we'll get to that later. But Shane Beamer, dude, you weren't lying, because Shane Beamer was about that close to being a better press conference than a Coach O to me. That's to me. So I know that probably means that overall, like from an unbiased eye, he probably had the best press conference today. He came through with some real confidence. And for a first-year head coach, and I know he's Frank Beamer's son, whatever. He's probably used to this. He probably got some really good pointers. He's been in the world of college football already. But to come out as your first year in a head coaching role, to come out this strong and just be that confident in everything you say, like, this dude's got a long career ahead of him. I don't know. I feel like you just kind of get a feeling that he's going to be a good head coach. And if he's not a good head coach, he's for sure going to be like a good analyst one day, because this dude can talk.
Oh, man. For a first-year head coach, listen, it was going to be one of our topics anyway, Brandon, so we'll skip right to it. Shane Beamer shines in first SEC Media Days. This dude, like, he exemplifies what like a CEO type head coach is, man. Like, and he has the confidence, he has the mind. And Brandon, I was reading kind of like an insider thing for South Carolina. He kept pressing like tight end stuff. And it's because they have a tight end out of Georgia who's getting ready to commit. And that was like he used like his speech to like recruit him.
See, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize
That's
that.
Amazing.
Because I know full disclosure, guys, I was at work today. I didn't get to watch it live. So I've been going back and watching the interviews after the fact. Right before we got on this call, that's the last thing I was listening to was his interview. And I know he just kept touching on, everyone asked about tight end play. Are we going to use? Yes, we're going to use the tight end. We're going to be passing the tight end. He kept saying that. Man.
So he's recruiting even on like his off day. And I mean, the Coach O gets to commit while he's talking in a 4-star running back who was one of their top priorities at the running back spot. But back to Beamer, man. You could tell that being under his dad, Frank, at Virginia Tech, being under Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma, having that time at Georgia, he's surrounded himself with great mentors in the game and has prepared him for the moment. And Brandon, I know South Carolina might not be great this year. I'm going to have a tough time seeing like I know that on the field and off the field, you can be great at press conferences and not coach. But if he has this confidence and the swagger and the ability to get his team to buy in, like he got everyone in the media to buy in, I have a tough time seeing Shane Beamer fail at South Carolina.
I do, seriously. And that's, it may be naive of me to be like, oh, he talks so confidently that he's going to be a great head coach. I don't know. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just that he is a Beamer, and that's why he's going to be a great head coach. But he's got something about him, dude. And after you just said he was using that as a recruiting tactic, the tight end stuff, that's crazy to me. I didn't realize that. Like, this is my honest reaction right now.
Well, he got to South Carolina, and their 2021 class was ranked last in the SEC, Brandon.
Yeah.
He made some progress right before, but their 2022 class, Brandon, I don't think people realize is right outside the top 15.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Killing it right now on the recruiting trail. And I think it's because you could tell he has this mindset and the confidence where he can get kids to buy in. And recruiting at South Carolina is the key to success, because if you don't recruit well, you're going to get beat week in and week out when you face the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Floridas, the LSUs. You have to recruit well in South Carolina. That's what Steve Spurrier showed. And I think he's taken that blueprint that Spurrier laid out. He's recruiting well. He's bringing that energy, that focus, that excitement back to Columbia. I love what I heard from Shea Beamer today. And it almost made me just want to say, screw it. They're winning the East this year. Like, it's Shane Beamer versus everybody. But no, we'll pump the brakes. But Brandon, this game, this was one of the hires I was kind of iffy about because he has no head coaching experience. But I do not think the moment is going to be too big. And it makes me rethink the grade that, I was kind of giving in my head to South Carolina hiring Beamer. I think they made the perfect hire here. He won the press conference today.
Yeah, no, it did make me feel a little more confident in the South Carolina job, like you just said. I don't know. I mean, I would love to have Shane Beamer on LSU's not head coach, on their coaching staff. After hearing him today, and obviously, I mean, he's had some giant roles. He's been at Georgia, he's been at Oklahoma, so on and so forth. I mean, he's been all over the place, and so I think South Carolina's got big things in the future. We may see a return to, and this is like way overreacting, I know, but we may see a return to how they were like in the early 2010s, like when they were just so dominant in the East.
Mm-hmm. And so let's get to your guy, Dan Mullen, your favorite coach in the SEC.
Yeah,
Listen, the headline here is Dan Mullen is still confident in his Gators for 2021. Brandon, he spoke very, very highly of Emory Jones. He even took a shot at the Georgia Bulldogs and said, they asked him what it was like for Georgia to be such a heavy favorite in the East, and he said, weren't they that last year?
Yeah.
Well, they were technically, but I got to ask you, so what was your takeaway from Dan Mullen? And are you as high on I guess, Emory Jones and the 2021 Florida Gators as Dan Mullen is kind of projecting here?
No, I think if you're a head coach, you have to do that. Like, you can't not do that. And it's not that I'm not high on Florida. I think they either win the East or they come in second in the East. So I don't think that's a question. Now, I don't know. He kind of came out with this. He didn't have nearly the confidence and I think he was just overshadowed by what Shane Beamer did. 'Cause I watched I watched this one and Shane Beamer back to back. I watched Coach O on my way home from work, and then when I got home, I finished it off. But I took about an hour off, and then I was like, let's listen to Dan Mullen. But I don't know. To me, he didn't have the same energy. Yeah, he was talking about it. The one thing I was alluding to earlier that that kind of got under my skin is he was talking about expanding the SEC schedule to 9 or 10 games, and he didn't seem excited about it. Like, Coach O seemed excited about it. That was one of the first things I noticed, and that may have been because I watched him first. But when Dan Mullen was questioned about it, he's like, I guess, I don't know how it would work. I don't know if any coaches are really on board with that. And to me, it kind of seems like quite the opposite. Like, a lot of coaches want that, and then Dan Mullen's like, I'm not sure. He had some thoughts on the neutral site game with Georgia in Jacksonville, which was weird to me that he would even bring that up at all.
Especially when they're like the home team already.
That's what I'm saying. And one of the other things I noticed, this isn't about Dan Mullen at all, but what about this guy that just keeps asking each coach like what their COVID vaccination numbers are? Who sent him and why is he there?
Well, listen, we're going to get to that. Just hang on to that thought. We're going to get to that.
Never mind. Anyway, Dan Mullen, to me, I don't know. And like I said, it may be that I'm biased or something, and I'm not going to keep saying that, but his media day appearance was probably the least appealing to me out of the three today. I don't know. That's just that to me. Nothing really that he said excited me or anything. And I was trying to be unbiased here, I promise.
I mean, so the biggest thing for me, my takeaway from Mullen, every coach is going to be confident, so I don't try to put too much stock into that. I don't really care how confident you sound. For me, it was the talk where I think the exact quote I have it here is, quote, I think the key to it is, and one of the reasons we've been so successful is never trying to take a square peg and put it into a round hole.
Yeah.
It's identifying what our guys, aka quarterback, really do well, build around the strengths of not just him, but the offense as a whole. Kyle Trask had a very unique skill set. He was more pass heavy. He wasn't really that mobile. Emory Jones can fly. He is hyper athletic at the quarterback spot. Brandon, do you think we're going to see Florida and Dan Mullen revert to the old Dak Prescott, Tim Tebow offense that we saw Dan Mullen run for so many years? And we're going to see more of that run heavy read option, power O up the middle type offense out of Mullen. I mean, I really, really am excited to see what kind of offense Florida brings, because they really struggled at times running the ball. But now that you bring that like third variable in with Emory Jones and his legs, could we see like a reinvigoration of Florida's running game this year? That's my biggest thing that I took away, is how different is the Gators offense going to look this year with Emory Jones at quarterback rather than Kyle Trask, who at times could be kind of a statue in the backfield.
I mean, I think we're going to have to see that, especially after he echoed that sentiment today. And I don't know why he would come in saying that and give teams like time to prepare for this, because if you go out against Florida and you don't see them utilize Emory Jones the way that, we all know they're going to, there's still a big question mark there. Like, who's to say Emory Jones doesn't drop back and just and be like a true quarterback?
He's got the arm strength. He can throw it 100 yards, man.
He can, but why? I don't know. Why would he go out and say that and like prepare for this?
Well, I think they're already preparing it. That's kind of ridiculous. Like, everyone knows you're not going to run the same offense as you ran with Kyle Trask. And
right.
Like, you have comparisons in Mullen's past, like Dak Prescott, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, where you saw what he was running. And yeah, I think you could even put Chris Leak in that fray. Like, what he's going to run. It's just, I think that Mullen was kind of playing on, Brandon, I know we talked yesterday about Lincoln Riley being the QB guru of college football. I think Dan Mullen kind of sees himself as that as well.
I think he sees himself as that, and I think he has a claim to it, really. I mean, he was the quarterback coach for Tim Tebow, for God's sake. Like, he was the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator during those however many years it was at Florida that he was there. I think it was like 05 to 08. And then Mississippi State, he did it again with Dak Prescott and made Mississippi State a contender. Like, that doesn't happen. Yeah, that hasn't happened before then. It hasn't happened since then either. But now he's back at Florida. He's the head coach. And maybe this is where he shines. He couldn't get the job done with Kyle Trask. And Kyle Trask is a good quarterback. He did kind of make him into something that I don't think anyone thought that Kyle Trask could be.
Yeah.
Well, I think we also have to take a step back and realize that Coach Dan Mullen was also the coach of Felipe Franks at Florida. And Felipe Franks is one of these more mobile quarterbacks. And nothing really happened there. So I don't want to chalk this up to like a straight W for Coach Mullen right now, because, things could be great, but we just don't know. Emory Jones, I think, is probably way more mobile and probably way more athletic than Felipe Franks. If I had to make a judgment call right here, so I think he'll end up having a better result with him as opposed to Felipe Franks. That maybe wasn't a fair comparison, but I would kind of take a step back for a second, and I'd like to see the way things unfold. I don't know. That's just my opinion, Zach.
I'm chalking it up to Brandon being biased right now. He just doesn't want Florida to be good. That's why I'm chalking it up as. So everything Brandon just said about Florida, throw it out the window. You can take my opinion on Florida. Can't take B-Dubs. His B-Dub in the back of his head sticking about the butt whooping that he wants LSU to give Florida this year in the Swamp. Or in Tiger Stadium this year. In Tiger Stadium this year, my bad.
Tiger Stadium.
But that brings us, because I want to rip into Coach O real quick.
Why?
He avoids the real questions. And dude, what are you doing with Bo Pelini? Like, just drop it. Like, admit you were wrong.
Yeah, I agree. That was weird.
Like, what? So, hang on. So, I know I've addressed this on the episode because this was during Brandon's like vacation, but dog, like, you didn't have a formal interview with a defensive coordinator at a SEC school as the defending national champions. You didn't have time to get him to LSU and have an interview. What were you doing?
It's a little ridiculous, and he kept mentioning that too. He's like, if I would have had an interview with him and stuff like that, he's like, I think I still would have hired him. Okay, cool. He's trying to defend himself, so I understand that. Let that one go. Well, I don't know.
And I also like I like the quote in his thing. Like, this is the quote. He said, "When I hired Bo, it was not a formal interview. I believed in him. It just didn't work. I said I would never do it again. Every one of these new hires, I interviewed them in person. I had a long interview with them, specific questions that I asked, things I maybe should have asked or shouldn't have." What does that even mean? Like, what could you have asked your potential defensive coordinator that like you shouldn't have?
I have no idea. I honestly didn't even catch that, so I don't know.
Like, Coach O, like, just like he's like the kid that got with like his hand caught in the cookie jar, and instead of just taking it out and apologizing, he just cut his hand off and said it wasn't in there.
Oh my God!
Like, what are you doing, bro? And he said that he still would have hired him because of his reputation and the guys I knew. Well, apparently the guys you knew were wrong, Coach O. Apparently the guys you knew didn't know a damn thing about what they were talking about.
It's tough. But I still think that Coach O he did some good things in this interview.
Oh no, he did. I had to get to the bad things first, and real quick, because I want to get all the bad out before we get to the good, so we don't have to circle back around and piss all the cages off again. Dude, what was with the comment? Like, listen, you have a Title IX investigation going on, and you're at SEC Media Days. Did you not think you were going to get asked about it?
There's ongoing lawsuits, Zach. He could not say a word about it.
I get it. But, like, didn't the comment at the end, like, oh, and thanks for asking, like, that, dude, like, that's like something like as a kid you would say to your parents and you'd be grounded for like 2 weeks. It's like, the underlying meaning of that.
I mean, okay, but to be fair, while you're saying you knew that someone was going to ask that reporter knew he wasn't going to get an answer. And that was 100% the only reason he was there. That was, by the way, the only reporter there from Los Angeles came there just for that question. Because I didn't hear him ask.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't hear him ask any other questions. I didn't hear him ask Coach Mullen any questions. I didn't hear him ask Coach Beamer any questions. And I didn't listen to all the players. But I didn't hear him ask Austin Deculus or Derek Stingley Jr. any questions.
And that's fine. Like, all you gotta say is like it's an ongoing investigation. I can't talk about it. It's like the last little like, bro, just stop. Like you're the one in the doghouse. Like you can't be mad at him.
Okay, I disagree. You can. You can be a little upset after especially if these allegations come out to not be true. If these
absolutely, I'm on your side. I'm not saying whether they're true or not.
No. Let me ask: if someone, and I know these are ridiculous things, we've already touched on the podcast, so I don't want people being like, "Oh, Brandon and Zach are defending this kind of behavior." No, we're not. Coach O should 100% be fired. Should be put in jail if the allegations against him are true. I'll be the first one to say that. But if they aren't, Zach, if you're in his shoes and you're undergoing this investigation and people have made things up about you, and then someone comes just for that question, they ask you the same thing, you're not going to be like a little pissed off about it?
I got you. I'm just saying, like, it could have been – the answer could have been more like – I guess just more like, okay, like I can't answer. That's it. We'll just leave it at that. Like thanks for asking.
Yeah. He said,
my God.
But you know what? I'm going to touch on that wall. Thank you for asking.
I mean, there were some positives. He seems like he learned from not interviewing his potential coaching candidates.
And it seems like he did a really good job there because it seems like everyone loves Durante Jones. At least Derek. Dude, did you watch the Derek Stingley interview?
Yes. He's our next comment.
Okay.
Yeah, Derek Stingley's odd comment.
What odd comment? Go ahead.
Where he said, quote, "I can't wait to show y'all what real chemistry looks like."
No, and that's someone. Okay, so before that, someone asked him if the chemistry seems different. If the first of all, they asked if the chemistry on the entire team seemed different. Stingley came back and said, at least on the defense, for sure, it seems different. And he had a smile on his face the whole time while he's saying this. And so, yeah, and then he proceeded by saying, "I can't wait for y'all to see what real chemistry looks like." And we all knew that was the case. We knew that this defense was playing in a system they weren't very comfortable with. They didn't seem like they had any kind of chemistry. I mean, if you look from 2019 to 2020, LSU's defense, they look 1,000,000% different, and there were a lot of the same players on the field. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this. They're switching back. This is another thing that Coach O said, by the way, switching back to a 4-3 defense, which good because God, what Bo Pelini had them in a what he had? He had them running I forgot. It was something weird too. It wasn't like a 3-4 or anything. Maybe it was a 3-4. I can't remember.
But I don't know. It could maybe a 3-3-5 or a 4-2-5.
Yeah, maybe it was a 3-3-5. I can't remember. It was something odd though, and I remember just being like, "Why are we doing that in 2020?"
And I just want to say, like, there's like the fact that Derek Stingley got 2 Devontae Smith questions too is hilarious.
Is it?
They're like, "Yo, so how's father doing in the NFL?" Like, I just want to say he handled them great because there's no reason he should have got 2 Devontae Smith questions today.
Yeah, that's true.
But I like Derek. Do what?
So they were in Hoover though, so that's
true. That's true. But listen, I love Derek Stingley's confidence today. This is like one of the players I wanted to highlight. He was really the only one that was for me, the one that had to be a headline. His confidence seems back. Brandon, I think he's going to take his rightful spot back as DB1 this year, man, and be one of the best cornerbacks in the country because, you could tell last year, I get he was hurt. There was some times where I did feel like he was given 100%. I feel like we're going to get Derek Stingley's best this year, and I'm so excited for it, even though I'm not even an LSU fan. I'm just excited to see what the potential really is behind that number 7. And the fact that he's wearing number 7 is going to make it even more disgusting, shutting down whole sides of the field.
I agree with you, Zach. And you know what? They tried to get him to change his jersey number last season too. I think they wanted him to wear number 7 last year because they wanted Jamar Chase to wear 7 and Derek Stingley to wear 7 on each side of the ball. He turned it down last season. I'm not sure why. I don't think he ever made a comment. He doesn't really talk to the media. So that was one of the first things I mentioned to him when he went on today is that he hasn't talked to the media in a while. He's a really shy guy. But if you guys didn't watch the Derek Stingley interview, I'd recommend it. Dude's just a class. Seriously, he's
it was a good interview. I'm messing. I can't he has the type of demeanor, the type of just swagger in an interview, and when he steps into a room, just that energy where he could be the face of a franchise. And I think he proved today to all those NFL teams that he can lead your franchise on defense.
Yeah, I think so.
But guys, that is a wrap on our day 1 recap of SEC Media Days. We're recapping day 2 tomorrow. We're recapping day 3 the next day, man. So make sure to tune into that. I'm so excited. And also, if you're checking this out as SEC fan, check out our live stream tonight. We're recapping SWAC Media Days, man. We're trying to get all the word out on that. We're so excited to be covering the SWAC this year and everything that comes with that. Also, go check out our interview today with Willie Eubanks III. He's a linebacker for the Citadel. Really, really pumped to have him on the show. Spencer Wagey from North Dakota State was on yesterday. Check that one out. And tomorrow, we are joined by national champion, all freshman selection from Sam Houston State, man. Listen, I can't believe we got a national champion on here, man. But Braden Clopton is on the show. Defensive back for Sam Houston State. We talk about the national championship run and everything in there. So, guys, make sure to subscribe. Turn on your post notifications, man. Join the Blue Bloods, man. The season's getting close, and I promise you're going to want to be subscribed for everything we have dropping soon. But for B-Dub, myself, the Blue Bloods, we're signing out for day one of SEC Media Days. We'll be back tomorrow, but we out.